Why are airline seats usually this color? Should you worry if you have these letters on a boarding pass? Should you board the plane first or last? Well, let's get into those, and much more, in 16 air travel secrets you didn't know. Number 1. Ever wonder why most commercial airlines use this color for their seats? Most airlines choose blue for their seat color because it has a calming effect. This color helps to put passengers at ease and helps even the most nervous flyers relax more. But there's another reason they are blue. It's because dirt, stains, and scrapes don't show up as much on blue fabric. Number 2. If you have a printed boarding pass, never throw it away in a public place. The reason is, it contains some of your personal information, including your name and frequent flyer number. This might allow someone to check any of your future bookings, change your seat assignment, or even cancel your flight. So don't just toss it in the trash. When you get home, if you have one, just put it in a paper shredder. Number 3. Have you ever seen letters on your boarding pass? If it happens to have SSSS, you might want to get ready for additional security checks. This means that you've been selected for secondary security screening selection by the TSA. You might be subjected to added screening measures, like an invasive pat-down, swabs for explosives, or tedious luggage inspections. You might even see a checkerboard pattern on it, or on your luggage. If you have any of these marks, your carry-on luggage might also undergo a thorough inspection. Number 4. Why would they choose you for secondary screening? This could be from making a one-way reservation or paying cash for your ticket. And in some events, the selection is completely random. Number 5. How do you get rid of SSSS? If you find yourself getting SSSS regularly, you might want to apply for a redress number. If you are approved and receive a redress number, you can add it to your frequent flyer accounts so it can be applied to your bookings. But what is a redress number? A redress number is a unique case number that allows the TSA Secure Flight Program to properly identify people who may be misidentified as someone on the Do Not Fly list or who require additional screening. Number 6. Ever catch yourself having to run to your gate to board the plane? There's no need to hurry. The trick that experienced travelers use is to board last. You don't have to spend time standing in line, plus there are fewer people on the jetway or in the aisle, and you spend less time on the plane. No one is going to take your seat anyway. There is one downside though if you're carrying on your luggage. If you have a bulky carry-on, it makes sense to board earlier, otherwise, you risk all the overhead space being taken by the time you get to your seat. If that happens, your bag may end up being stored in the underside baggage compartment and you'll have to wait for it at the luggage carousel with all the others after landing. Number 7. Before takeoff and landing, flight attendants usually flip a small switch on the bathroom door that prevents it from flying open when it's not supposed to. Just as easily, a flight attendant can open the door when someone is inside, but only when necessary. They just need to lift the lavatory sign and move the knob to the unlocked position. Number 8. Pilots don't worry about turbulence, and really, you shouldn't either. Turbulence is a normal part of flying, and pilots don't like it any more than you. They are always working to fly around what might be a turbulent area, like cumulonimbus cloud buildups and thunderstorms. To date, no airplane has crashed because of turbulence, and it usually only drops you a few feet, even though it might feel like it's much more than that. The most extreme turbulence is very rare, and what pilots worry about, and avoid at all costs, is wind shear or updrafts. Number 9. Airplanes can fly, even if one engine fails. Even during takeoff and landings, both engines failing simultaneously is almost unheard of. And, with a single engine out, pilots would have enough time to find a suitable place to land. Also know that commercial pilots who are type-rated in these airliners have FAA-required recurring training every year, and flying with an engine out is part of the yearly training. Number 10. The way airplane cabins are pressurized can have an effect on your taste buds. You actually lose up to 30% of your ability to taste sweet and salty things. In other words, it's probably not that your airplane food isn't very tasty, you just don't taste as well. That's also the reason airline catering companies add extra salt and spices to the meals they prepare for flights. Number 11. Ever wonder what the chimes you hear during flights mean? A high, then low chime means one flight attendant is trying to reach another, or the flight deck is trying to reach an attendant. 3 low chimes mean an emergency, but the chances of hearing those are extremely rare. And just 1 chime is when a passenger is requesting assistance from a flight attendant. Number 12. What are the better seats on a plane to reduce the feeling of turbulence? They are near the wings, or towards the front of the aircraft. The wings of the plane are where it is balanced around, whereas the tail of the aircraft can bounce up and down more. Number 13. Do pilots and co-pilots on commercial airlines eat different meals? It depends on the carrier, but this is sometimes true. The reason is the belief that it helps to mitigate the risk of a foodborne illness, but most commercial airline pilots do eat the same meals and the same food that is served to the passengers. Generally, pilots are also allowed to bring their own food if they choose that option. Number 14. What do you think might be the filthiest place on a commercial airplane? Well, it's not the toilet seat, and it's not in the bathroom. Flight attendants warn to be particularly careful with armrests, seat pockets, tray tables, and seat belts. Tests have shown that 1/3 of all seatbelts have yeast and mold on them, and most tray tables are covered with bacteria. Seat pockets are extremely filthy too, but headrests are the dirtiest of them all. In many cases, cleaning crews don't have enough time to change or disinfect them in between flights. Maybe you might want to take along a small packet of antibacterial wipes? Number 15. Can pilots or crew sleep in longer flights? Well, hopefully while not at the controls, but pilots and attendants flying long distances, like transoceanic flights, have secret bedrooms for crew members to catch some sleep. Longer flights, say up to 10 to 15-hour flights, have two crews that get split in half, so while one half works, the other half rests. Who gets what shift depends on seniority. In some Boeing 777s, these quarters are actually above first class. Most Boeing 777 and 787 airliners have a secret stairway that leads to a tiny set of windowless bedrooms for the cabin crew, including hidden bedrooms for pilots that most people don't even know exist. Such a compartment can have up to 10 comfortable beds where flight attendants and pilots can rest. And number 16, do airplanes get struck by lightning? Commercial transport passenger planes are hit by lightning an average of 1 or 2 times a year, or about once every 1,000 hours of flying. They are designed and built to conduct lightning through the plane and through static wicks located on the wing tips and horizontal stabilizers. These wicks resemble 2 or 3 wires hanging at the back edges, and they transfer that electricity back into the atmosphere to prevent it from interfering with navigation and communication radios. Well, that's all we have for today, so we appreciate you giving the video a like, subscribing, and sharing it with friends. Thanks and have a great day.